Hi, my name is Cindy. I just wanted to welcome you guys to Couples Therapy. If you could please give me your name, a little of your background, and maybe tell me why you guys are here today.
Hi, I'm Karen. She's my partner, Stephanie. We have been in a relationship for 4 years. And I'm originally from China and have been living in LA for like almost 5 years.
Okay, welcome to LA.
I'm Stephanie. I am a social worker. We met in college. I, on the other hand, was born here in LA my whole life. So, I mean, it's different dating somebody from a different country, a different culture, and I think that's one of our major issues that we have.
Yeah, because although I have been here for 5 years, but I really find myself not accommodating to this country. I really want to go back to China because my parents are there and they're getting old. And I'm the only child, so I really need to go back to China and look after them. She's not going. Yeah. We have been having conflicts for our discussions for a couple of times, and I really can't see where are we going to.
Yeah, I feel like she's taking this decision and not including my feelings. I don't want to live in China. I'm okay with visiting. We visited almost several holidays. We've gone to her parents' house in China, and
You loved that, right?
I mean, I enjoyed.
Enjoy all the convenience and food there.
Yeah.
It's much better than LA. The
It's
traffic
not-
here is horrible.
And I feel like there's a lot of bad things over there too, and traffic is just one little thing. I liked visiting her family and getting to know her culture, but living there for just set there, no. I'm used to being here. And that's one of our major problems.
Yeah, so it seems like you want to go back to China and have maybe relocate and move with your parents. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah, that was my original plan before I came to here to get education.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my parents just expect me to finish graduate school and go back to China to work. Then I met her, so the story is changing now. But I really never planned to live in the U.S. Yeah, because I don't have many friends here. I'm still new to this country.
So, if I'm trying to understand the situation, you guys met 5 years ago. You guys seem very, compatible and likable and in love with each other, but I'm kind of confused. So the problem is that you want to go back to China and you're debating if you want to go with her or not. Can you kind of clarify that for me?
Yeah, I feel like I'm very opposed to going to China. I thought that I didn't know things were that bad here. I thought that she was comfortable here, and I thought once we got more serious in the relationship, she would have considered staying here, but apparently her plan is still the same, going back to China, and I don't want to end the relationship, but this is a decision that has to be made.
So apparently you're not really considering my feelings. You can see that I'm getting depressed every day by living here. Yeah, I took like 1.5 hours to commute to work. I work in a school as an administrative person, but what I really want because I studied counseling before, so I really want to have my own private practice back in China. There's a huge market in China, but I don't have any competitive abilities here in LA, so I have got a job I don't like, and traffic, yeah, it's just torturing for me every day. So
I feel like you're not considering my feelings because
if I'm not considering why I'm staying here for so long, yeah, I try to sacrifice, but it's been years. We need a plan for the future.
I feel like there has to be another option. I just don't see myself going. I think you do
never
have
tried. You never tried to I lived in the LA for many years. You never tried to live in China.
Yeah, but you never lived. For me, you came to school here and you found a job, and I feel like you can be successful. You haven't tried more options, I feel.
More options like what?
Like finding a better job.
It seems that, you both really care about each other, but there's a major like conflict and kind of a crisis between where you guys want to combine your life together, whether that be in LA or in China. One thing I want to ask is that how did it get to this point of this relationship? Like, eventually, you said that 5 years ago you guys met, so can you maybe clarify, give me some background history as to how you guys met and how the relationship was before it got to this, conflict?
Yeah, we went to the same college, so it's quite natural for us to start a relationship there. So everything's fine.
But you weren't as open. You weren't really set on moving to China. Like, she would say it here and there, but it wasn't, like, I never thought, I guess I never imagined it coming to this point.
So just to clarify, she would never bring up that she would go back home to China when you guys were dating?
Like, probably in the beginning, but once we got more serious, we didn't bring it up until now, because she wants to move soon. And it's just like, I guess I didn't prepare enough mentally that this was going to happen.
But my parents have been brought up this problem or request for many times. Every time when we went back to China, they said something like this, like they are getting old and another child. They are really they are supportive for our relationships. Yeah, they're very open parents. It's very rare in China.
I feel like maybe is there a way you could bring them here, or like we could keep visiting. We don't have to live there. I'm open to visit them. We could visit more often too.
Well, my family is quite different from what you come from. You can keep the distance from your parents, but I'm not. I'm just feeling very guilty to keep this distance with them and not looking after them.
I feel like it's natural. You become independent, and it's a natural thing that you move away from your family. I'm not as close to mine, which probably...
But you have brothers and sisters who look after your parents, but they don't. They have me as the only child.
So Karen, it seems that you have a lot of like anxiety and distress about this crisis in your relationship right now. You mentioned that you didn't like the LA traffic, and you can't find the job that you like, and then you have parents sick at your homeland. Is that correct? So it seems that you sound very stressed out, but how would you see yourself in an ideal world? Like, what would you try to do to relieve that stress?
Ideal world? She will go back to China with me, and we could have a big house there, and I would have a private practice, and she would get a better job, because they're a huge market.
But then yet I would be alone. too, so it doesn't make sense.
So you don't want to be alone, but I'm okay to be alone?
You're
Here.
not as alone, I feel. I incorporate you in my outings with friends, and we rarely visit my family, but they welcome me too. I'm not a fan of change.
So I'm the person that have to change for you, for job, for traffic, for everything I don't lack. I need to change myself because you don't want to change.
I mean, I feel like if you want to be with me, you would be willing to do that.
But you are not willing to do everything, to do
I'm-
anything for me.
Yes, I'm willing to visit your family over there more often.
I sense that there's still, obvious disagreements on both ends, but I also see that Stephanie, you're very willing to, move with Karen or at least visit her family. And Karen, you still seem stressed about, helping out your mom, your dad, and finding a happy place in LA.
No, I don't think they can come to LA.
Mhm.
They don't speak English. How can they survive
Mhm.
here?
A lot of people do. You just find ways if you really want to.
Oh, I don't want them to sacrifice their whole life. They have family, they have other relatives and friends there. And my dad has his company there. So I don't think they can move
I
to a
feel
new
like
country for me.
that's your priority right now, and you're not also thinking of me, that I have to leave everything to, I guess, accommodate your parents.
When you say leave and accommodate, can you kind of explain
Because
that?
she wants me to move there
Oh,
forever.
I see.
Mhm.
Not forever. At least, like my parents are getting old. We're not going to stay there to taking care of them forever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the session, I thought, the problem was about your stress and anxiety and making Karen feel comfortable in LA. But as I'm talking and I'm listening to you guys, would you guys agree, or correct me if I'm wrong, that the actual conflict would be where to settle in the relationship? Like, you guys both move to China or stay in LA?
Yeah.
I don't want to move to China, and I think my mind is set. But I also don't want to lose a relationship.
In the beginning of the relationship, can you maybe explain how you guys met again? Because I think we kind of jumped around and we didn't really fully explore that. So maybe you can give me some background history of how you guys met and all the stuff that led up to this decision or this climax right now.
Well, I was just a transfer student from China, and I was so new here on campus and looking for somebody to help me to figure out where I am. And she just came. I found she was really sweet and considerate and very helpful. And then we become friends, and later we just find out that we both have chemistry.
Yeah, and then we moved in together. We're living together now. So I thought that was a big step on her side of like staying here in LA.
That's why I live my whole life now depending on her, because I don't have many friends elsewhere. And she has a lot of childhood friends to hang out with, and I don't have my people.
So it sounds that there's actually maybe a deeper problem in the relationship. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. At the beginning you said it might have been like your parents' sickness and taking care of them, but after this disclosure it seems that, Karen, you feel kind of like a new maybe immigrant to the country, like you still don't feel like you belong. Is that correct?
I don't feel like I can accommodate to LA very well.
Mm-hmm.
Because because I'm not bringing up here, so like from high school or something, I just came here for higher education, so just a couple of years.
She is a very shy person. I feel that's why she's not that open to meeting new people or to just being, I guess, getting closer to like my group of friends. And I feel like you can practice being more outgoing, going out more, and then you'll eventually find a group of friends that will make you feel comfortable here.
So you are asking me to change my personality?
I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you to try to just be more open. I think you're closing off more, even more now that you want to go to China.
Go to China is not close off. It's like I want to open myself because it's more comfortable, more opportunities for both of us.
Whereas the both of us, I feel like you're just seeing your opportunities. Where would mine be?
Because we can have our own private practice. You're a social worker and I'm counselor. So we can have an organization there, but you can't, it's so competitive here in LA.
Yeah, and I'm willing to be competitive and get a practice here. That's been my dream all my life. And you're asking me to change my dreams to go to China, and I feel that's unfair too.
But you never tried, you won't know that there's a huge market in China. There's so many foreigners like you.
I mean, it could be true that we could be successful in business, but in the other aspects of my life, I'm not gonna be happy.
Stephanie, you made it very clear that you mentioned before that you're willing to continue to visit Karen's family, and you also just mentioned right now that you feel that Karen isn't opening up and she's kind of shy towards your friends, and is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then Karen, how do you feel about that, or how does it make you feel when she says that to you?
I feel really not being understood because every time I meet her friends, I try to open up, but it's not the way I brought up, so I can't be like just so outspoken and to understand all your jokes. I don't. So I'm sitting there really trying to figure out what's going on and try to be friendly with everyone.
But they're similar to me. If you like me, I figured she would like them. So you don't like my friends? Is that?
I like them, but not in a deeper level. I can communicate with them and be friends, but nobody can share my burdens or cultural, give me this deeper understanding and support. So I really feel alone here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that you feel alone and if you express your stress, but if you could, would you say that if you opened up to Stephanie's friends more and they could communicate with you better and,
But
hang
they
out,
are
would
still her friends. They're not originally my friends. Yeah, so they actually take stance on her, take stance between our relationship. They really support her idea for not moving to China. Yeah. So I don't see myself can be real friends with them.
I mean, there must be like a group especially for international students that come from maybe China too, and they, I don't know, they could have clubs or organizations, but I don't feel like you even going out to find that because you're so set to going back. You're not finding the options here.
But how many lesbians are there in Chinese communities? Are they coming out?
So then why would you want to go? I feel like it's really open here. Marriage is legal here. If we go back to China, we can't get married. We can't be as open as we are. Maybe to her parents. Her parents are very welcoming and open to the LGBT, but to the rest of the city and the China, we're not. So I feel like even if it's not as open here, it's more than over there. So why would we want to go inside like a bigger box?
It's not a box for me. People will accept me more in China, not like this one. When I'm in LA, I'm totally alone.
But I feel like she chooses to be alone.
I feel like it's like every time I explain my difficulties and stress, she's not understanding that. She's kind of taking it as my personal choices and personality problems.
It's because I feel like all my life I wasn't as close to my family, so I would always have to go get what I wanted and had to be just very proactive. And she's not. She just wants to go back to her comfort zone.
So, yeah.
I can see that, there's actually many problems in this this relationship right now, but but by saying that, I can still see that Stephanie, you love your partner, you're willing to continue to visit her and her family. And Karen, I after this whole time we've been talking, I sense that you're still kind of hesitant about the relationship or whether staying in it.
I just feel like I'm not supported by her here because she's keep saying that it's me, it's my problem because I'm too shy and not open enough. She doesn't seem to understand my situation, so I feel like I was so committed to this relationship and I depend on her so much. So, but now when we face the real problem, this reality, she seems really not considering my situation.
And would you say that your situation or your anxiety is due to a cultural thing because you can't, her friends don't support you or they don't welcome you, or would it be that you want to help your family, or?
I think every aspect of my life should be in China. That's the way I should be.
So would you say that you would that you're putting China above the relationship, or?
That's how I feel she's doing.
But I want to stay in a relationship, but it's just so difficult for me to be the true me here. Because I have to change myself so much, to change myself to open up and to be friends with someone who takes stands for her, like not be my friends. So, and also I can't see my future career here. Yeah.
So it sounds like you're very uncomfortable living in LA.
I'm gradually becoming desperate living here.
I'm sorry, desperate?
Yeah, desperate to thinking about living here for my whole life. Like desperately depressed.
So you feel depressed if you were to continue living in LA?
Yeah.
But those feelings weren't expressed when we moved in together. So I'm taking this by it's almost like just a big surprise that she really, really wants to go back.
So it sounds like, Karen, this is the first maybe moment that you've expressed that you feel depressed in living in LA, and that Stephanie has never heard this before. Is that true?
I think she sees that every day. She's just asking why you're upset, and she's not really understanding that. I explained, and she's rejecting. She just say things like, I won't do that, I can't go to China, like things like it's all about herself.
I feel the opposite. I feel like she's all about herself. She wants to go back. I think this was a big step in the relationship, moving in together. And her going to China is taking a lot of steps back. So I feel I get scared that we're not getting closer to maybe marriage. since she goes to China, everything just, it won't get there. And I feel like I'm afraid that's not gonna happen. Maybe that's why I close off emotionally. Maybe that's why I can seem cold. And I just don't want that to happen.
So when you, would you say, Stephanie, that you've noticed Karen's, physical or maybe signs of sadness or quote unquote she feels depressed when she's living in your apartment? Would you say that's noticeable? Or?
Yeah, it is noticeable. She sometimes she cries but I feel like I just don't understand why. I feel like sometimes she just has a good time, and I try to make it as comfortable for her.
Oh, when you hang out with your friends, I'm alone at home. Do you think I'm happy enough? And I have this sack job I really don't like. And do you think I have reasons to be happy?
That's why you have to find maybe friends of her own. I can't do that for her.
But I'm totally occupied by traffic and the work here. How can I have free time to meet my friends?
And that's I feel like everybody has a life here in LA. You just
That's
you
not
just
normal.
investigate.
Yeah, the people spend so much time on traffic. That's not normal.
Yeah, it sounds, Stephanie, that that you're aware of Karen's sadness and depression, and maybe you've even reached out to her to hang out with your friends.
Mhm.
And Karen, you didn't get along with them, or how was the reaction like when? Maybe you guys can give me an example of how you guys all hang out when Stephanie's with her friend and Karen is with you in that group. What's the dynamics like?
Yeah, so I'll get invited and I invite her. She normally wants to stay home because I guess she feels uncomfortable. I sort of make her come with me, and when we go, she's kind of sitting in a corner. I feel like she tries for a little bit, but then just gives up and doesn't try enough. And my friends also point out why isn't she as involved? I feel they're open and they are willing to be, I guess, include you more, but she just shuts off, I feel.
And Karen, would you say that when you are not maybe vocal or maybe not as friendly as Stephanie is used to with her friends, would you say that's just a personality thing, or do you think it's a language or cultural barrier?
I just think I can't really accommodate to the lifestyle she has, because she usually hang out with friends in the bars. I don't drink alcohol. I don't know what I should do in the bars. Just by chatting, I can't hear them talking really clearly, because music is loud, and I really don't know what to say. So I'm feeling, I try to get used to it, but I really don't know how to respond or how to get myself involved.
So just to clarify, it would be a cultural issue, you would say?
Yeah, I would say that, because I don't have that much experience in China. We don't do that much often.
So then what do you do in China?
You saw us, we just chat, we sit, we have lunch or dinner together.
But it's just family over there. What, I don't know.
Friends, I have close friends in China for many years, because I have more than 20 years. I have friends since childhood. So we can share very deep things. You can feel very supported.
So Karen, it sounds like you still haven't found your comfort in LA other than your partner Stephanie.
Yeah.
And I want to say that when you when she hangs out with her friends, maybe the social aspects of the LA life doesn't appease you, it doesn't match you, or?
I just think maybe they can try something different, not always the bars.
She didn't express that to me before. That's the first time I thought it was just my friends. We could try new things. We could probably go for
I don't
dinner.
like just keep being noisy and not communicating. You feel so lonely when you stay in the room and everybody's so happy, but they're not really communicating.
So you feel very alone and that no one's coming out to talk to you.
Yeah, I just feel it's meaningless. Everybody's just being superficial in the relationship.
But you also, this is maybe the first time in the relationship that she expressed to you that she doesn't like the activities that your friend does, so maybe going to the bars. And Stephanie, you seem very, willing to change and very, not excited, but, very invested in the relationship. And it seems that you're, almost willing to do anything to make Karen at least more comfortable in LA and at least more happier.
Yeah, exactly.
She always chose to go along with her friends, and I'm just staying at home.
I'm wondering, Stephanie, if you and your friends did other activities other than going to the bar, what would they be?
We could go out for dinner. We could go for hiking in the mornings. We could do stuff that doesn't involve loud music. I really thought it was my friend. I thought she had a problem with my friend. And maybe that's why I just stopped inviting her.
Because they just they all thinking about my want to go back to China like stupid. They just keep criticizing China for like air pollution or junk food or something. I really feel discriminated by her friends saying that to me.
But Stephanie mentioned that you're willing to go do other social activities like hiking and the other various stuff. Karen, would you feel comfortable maybe joining that social group if it wasn't bar drinking and things that you were not comfortable with? Would you feel maybe a little connected with Stephanie and LA?
It may be better, but I don't see myself can really being accepted deeply by her friends because they always take stands.
Can you maybe elaborate the word always and maybe give me an example of the situation?
Like when I mentioned that I have families, they're like, what are you talking about? We all have families. Why you are a grown up? Why you always mention about your parents? Yeah, so they don't really accept my culture.
So it seems that Stephanie is your friend. Maybe they mock your culture or they kind of tease you? Is that what I'm getting?
They give me the face like I don't care.
They give you the face that you don't care? Is that
they don't care.
They don't care?
Yeah.
I never took it that way. I just thought that they were helping me make her stay.
Yeah, that's what I feel. They are making us to make the decision to stay in LA.
No, they're just helping.
I
think
just
they
feel
want to help me.
alone. No one's helping me.
Stephanie, can you please maybe explain by the word help? Because from what Karen just said, she says that your friends kind of mock her about having parents and always worrying about the parents. Maybe can you help me see from your perspective?
Yeah.
Because I'm a little confused.
I feel like my friends are also like me. They're more dependent, not as close, I guess, to family. She's very family oriented, which I appreciate because I'm not. And so, like, I've discussed with them our issue, and naturally, I feel as friends, they want to help me keep the relationship here in LA. And so, in their own way, I guess they try to make her stay, but I guess it doesn't come out good for her. But there's miscommunication, I feel.
Yeah, I just feel like nobody's trying to understand my situation and my feelings and my stress. They're trying to persuade me in every aspect. Every time I meet her friends.
Stephanie, it seems that you're kind of like semi-aware of the cultural difference in your relationship. you seem very independent, kind of have your own social group, whereas Karen, you're more of the Asian traditional background where, you're very close with your parents. And Stephanie, you seem that you understand that, but have you maybe tried explaining, the cultural difference to your friends?
No, not really, I guess.
I don't think she understands herself, so how can she explain to her friends? I don't think she really trying to understand where I grown up.
I don't get it. I really don't understand her rush to go to China. She came here, I thought, to make a career here.
You have seen that how struggling I am to find a job here.
I think it's just like work ethic.
I've been changing jobs and finally I got this crap job. And traffic is a big part of my life. It's like I'm being a driver for myself.
It's because you're so negative, you don't find a good job. I think.
So it's my problem again. Every time I'm describing my situation and stress.
Yeah, I think that there's still a lot of tension, but that's a good sign because you guys are both very passionate about fixing your relationship. So let's fuel that energy into something more positive. Like Stephanie, a few maybe minutes ago, you mentioned and you appreciated Karen's love for her family. Like you admired that. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I had that. I just don't. That's just my life. I'm not as close as my family. And I guess that's why she's more loving and caring and sweeter than I am, and I might come across as cold. And just, if you really want something, you go get it. And I think she's just making excuses so probably she could convince herself that China's the only option.
Because my parents they have only one option.
She's like involving her parents in our relationship. Like, I understand that they need help. Maybe we could spend money, we could visit more, maybe we could hire somebody to care for them. There's other options. Living there is not the only one.
You don't know the situation in China. You can't hire someone really take care of your parents for the rest of their lives. I don't trust them that much.
So you want to stay in China until the rest of their lives? That's not fair to me.
Not fair? Not fair to me. Not fair to me and not fair to my parents. Because I've been with you for so many years and so committed to this relationship. But it's time for me to take my responsibility for my parents.
But what's your responsibility with your parents?
You see, this is a problem.
Yeah.
When I try to explain my responsibility, she just can't get it.
Yeah, I can tell there's a lot of emotions and, kind of lostness in both of you guys. But, you guys invested a lot for 5 years, and to go separate ways may be not the ideal thing, maybe. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't want to end the relationship.
No. And what about you, Karen? Would you want to end the relationship, or?
I don't. This is my first formal relationship, actually. And I've been with her for so many years.
Yeah, but Stephanie was very, you just answered the question, very quickly that you are willing to be in a relationship and work it out. But Karen, can you maybe directly answer the question? Would you, do you want to be in this relationship, or are you happy here?
Yes. I hope so.
So right now, we're still debating about whether to make, how to make Karen more, happy and more acceptable in LA. Going back to what you said before about you.
So you made a decision for me to stay in LA?
Oh no, I'm just saying, like how how would you feel more comfortable in LA? Because even if you're staying in LA or not staying in LA, if you're moving to China right now, would you say that you're not happy or uncomfortable, like living in the situation? So that, sorry, just to clarify, how would you, you both can answer, how would you make yourself happy, and Stephanie, how would you help help Karen to be happier?
I mean, I can help by, I really believe that there's clubs out there. She's probably not the only person that feels that way, that like an international student that feels uncomfortable still adjusting to LA. So I can maybe help finding clubs for you so you can meet people just like you. And probably they could share experiences and how they feel. Maybe she'll feel more comfortable. She'd probably go out with them and probably be less, I guess, less stress. And
Karen, have you maybe tried that? That seems like a okay idea. Have you tried meeting other clubs with people like you?
You mean lesbian clubs? Like lesbian and Asian Chinese clubs, I really don't see there is one, because I'm kind of hesitant to disclose myself in the Chinese community, because there's cultural issues. They're not as open as the LA people, so I feel like I'm in between and I have nowhere to go. And I can't identify myself with anyone.
But that doesn't make sense to me, because if it's so hard to open up to the Chinese culture, why do you want to go to China?
Because my parents are accepting and open.
But how is the other part of your life going to change if you can't be open?
I have old friends there, tons of old friends there. I don't need to meet people and to just change myself.
It's not changing yourself, it's just experiencing new things.
You know, it's not new things for me. It's everything in LA actually still I feel like new to me.
So how would you, I understand that you feel, very not comfortable with the LA community and the kind of like traditions. How would you change that or make you feel happier?
I just found so difficult. I feel like people here are so independent and distant from each other. It's quite different from where I am in China. And people just support you, and although they don't really understand your situation as minority, but they kind of try to support you. But here, just everybody's communicating on a superficial level, to me at least, as a minority here. So
Yeah, it seems like the root of the problem, I don't think is, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but maybe it's not maybe your parents' sickness, but it seems that you're still very uncomfortable, and like the root of the situation is that you don't feel comfortable living in LA, that you have, first of all, Stephanie's friends are kind of teasing you and they don't make you feel comfortable. You might not have maybe a backbone other than Stephanie to keep you entertained.
yeah, and I can't see myself can develop one a good network here.
Can you explain, go into that, why you don't feel that way?
Because I've been living like doing this job for 1 year, and I just don't have time. I'm so exhausted after work, after driving so like 3 hours on the way. So I don't see myself I can have the energy like to keep our relationship, and also taking care of my parents on the phone, and then having fun with friends. It's just I don't have that much time for doing that.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot is on your plate. So
We can move closer to her job. I feel that could be an option. We've never discussed it, but now she always talks about traffic and that taking away from your time.
Karen, how would you feel about that? Stephanie is, willing to maybe move closer to your job so that cuts down traffic. And she also agreed that she would, explain to her friends that the cultural difference between you guys. So hopefully that will lessen the burden of making you uncomfortable and maybe increase the feeling that you are loved here and that you're loved by Stephanie and that you're welcomed in LA.
That's just an ideal image. I don't see how that would happen.
So
Been here for so many years that never improved.
You see, she just makes excuses because she's just set to go to China.
So you don't think that moving closer to your workplace would cut down the traffic and maybe alleviate the stress?
Because I don't like the job I'm doing now. Yeah. My dream is to open a private practice in China. But I just see myself being away from my dream for the rest of my life if I stay here.
Being away from what? I'm sorry, I didn't
Away
catch that.
from my dream.
Your dream.
Yeah.
Away from your dream. Okay. So you would say that your dream would be in China,
Yeah.
to have an office there.
Yeah. That's the reason I came to LA actually.
So
To get educated and go back to serve my people.
yeah, that sounds like a great cause and effort. But I wonder where that leaves the relationship on the spectrum. Because you said that your dream is to open an office in China and help your people, which I think is very admirable. But I wonder where the relationship or how you can fit Stephanie into that.
Yeah, that's the difficulty I'm facing now. So I really don't know how to include her in this plan. I try to work with her, but she seems just don't understand my feelings.
Would you say your goal is to maybe do long distance, or is your goal to move in together in China? What's the goal here?
Well, I guess if it's long distance, it will be too challenging. I would see that. Because she's never willing to go to China to live with me, so how long is the distance will be and how long it takes. So that's why when we mention about this topic, we just keep silence. It's so hard for us to discuss about that.
Yeah.
There's no future.
Yeah, so I guess you guys haven't talked about it before, which is a good thing, so we can all hear your thoughts right now. So again, going back to my question, how do you see Stephanie in your future, or as your goal?
Maybe move to some place that I can take care of my parents, and also she's comfortable with at least someplace better than LA, so that we can both have a career. I just don't want to just communicate with my parents every day on the phone and keep worrying about them.
And then Stephanie, what's your how do you see Karen in your future? Because you mentioned in therapy before that the whole reason why you guys moved in together was hopefully to maybe lead into something more serious like marriage, right, Stephanie? And Karen, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm fine if we get married, but we can get married here and go back to China. Yeah, that's legal then. And my parents are very accepting and open.
They seem like that's the only people who are. They make it seem like they're the only ones that are accepting. You say like the Chinese culture is not as accepting, so why would I be willing to go somewhere where it's even more discrimination that I get sometimes here?
But my friends are accepting too. And those people who are not accepting, they are not relevant to me.
To you.
They're strangers. I don't care. Why do I care about strangers' opinion?
Ideally, it would be for her, since she's so unhappy with her job, to find maybe a different job. It doesn't have to be here in LA. It could be even further out where the traffic is not as congested, and we could visit your parents more. You find
He's still
more
in the
friends.
US.
You guys have made a really good progress talking about your emotions. Let's definitely continue stop here, and we'll continue on the next session. But thank you for opening up your emotions and telling me how you guys feel. Till next time.